Hello, everyone. This is Jet Black, the one and only, your host here on Dragon Ball Discussions. And today, as always, we're going to be talking about some crazy Dragon Ball techniques, theories, etc. I'll be using quotes, little snippets from the Daisenshu, and some screenshots in order to talk about dimension breaking in Dragon Ball and how that could lead to potential crossovers between our main continuity and movie universes. But before we jump into that, if you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button as we are approaching over 470 subscribers, which is something we can't do without your help. Also, we're going to try and get this video up to at least 5 likes, which is something we can't do without your assistance as well. Please also leave comments in the comment section below, as we'd love to hear from you so that we can learn more about what you guys want to see, as well as your thoughts on these different episodes and ideas that we're sharing in these videos. If you're also into Yu-Gi-Oh! And other Dragon Ball things, make sure to check out this channel, as well if you're into college lifestyle vlogs and things of that nature. Now, let's jump right into some content. So I'd like to start off with this Akira Toriyama interview that we got in the Daisenshu 6, which talks about movies and TV specials. Now, the first question in this interview is, what is your personal stance on Dragon Ball's theatrical films? In which Toriyama says he takes the stories as in a different dimension from the main story of the comic. Now, of course, Toriyama could just be saying the movies take place in a different dimension and just using the term dimension lightly, but if he truly does mean within the context of the Dragon Ball universe that there are multiple dimensions and that the movies exist in a different dimension from our main continuity, that's when we get into some interesting fan theories and ideas. Looking at the Daisenshu 7 at the Special Attack Dictionary, which if you guys have watched my channel before, I like to look at the Special Attack Dictionary a lot. I feel like there are a lot of techniques that the Dragon Ball characters use but don't use often enough, and therefore the moves are underused. One in particular, opening a hole in the dimension, or as I've heard a few people call it, Vice Shout, is a move that's been used by Majin Buu and Gotenks, and it's a technique where they fire a great Ki yell, distorting the dimension and opening a hole in it. Only people with extremely high battle ratings can use this, and they used it to escape the sealed Room of Spirit and Time. The Room of Spirit and Time, of course, is another dimension. That's why the move is called opening a hole in the dimension, and it allows for beings to be able to move between dimensions by opening holes in them. So if the different movies are different dimensions, then it would seem that by using opening a hole in the dimension or Vice Shout, characters should be able to move between dimensions. Also, as we'll see in a few screenshots, Gotenks and Buu are not the only ones who have escaped other dimensions before. Though I will admit that it is a rather dangerous move, considering that outside space is also a thing. So this is a move that was demonstrated by Majin Buu, and when Majin Buu was overwhelmed by Vegito, Buu generated this after going into a frenzy. Distortions appear in the space surrounding Buu, and it seems that this power was also what enabled Buu to escape the Spirit in Time, the Room of Spirit and Time, which means that opening a hole in a dimension, at least when used by Buu, involves this outside space mechanic. We don't know if the outside space mechanic is something that occurs whenever someone breaks through a dimension or not. It doesn't seem like it, especially since they only list Majin Buu for this. But if it is something that just happens to happen when you break through dimensions, it could potentially be detrimental to Universe 7, as this space would cover the living world and wipe out the universe. So Majin Buu's outside space technique in this Special Attack Dictionary essentially shows that Buu, with this move alone, could potentially wipe out the entire universe as we know it. So opening holes in the dimension is no small feat, and they even say that is something that you need an extremely high battle rating to do. Now, let's look at a few of these screenshots. Here is Buu using the move in question. Now, this next one is actually more recent. This is from Dragon Ball Super. Vegeta has been powering up to such a great limit to where he blows the Room of Spirit and Time apart. So that is another dimension-breaking feat. Here is, and I want to hear you guys' opinion on this. Isn't it true that Hit's move, where he traps you in this other space, that is a pocket dimension that Hit is creating? Is that terminology used? I want to know for sure. because if not, then this doesn't count as a dimension breaking feat. But if this is another dimension that puts you in like a pocket universe, then this would be Goku demonstrating that he can break through dimensions as well. Here's Gotenks when he used what fans are calling the Vice Shout to break out of the room in Spirit of Time, screaming in order to open a hole in dimension, as the Special Attack Dictionary calls it. And then recently in Dragon Ball Super Episode 101, spoilers, most def, we have Kale transforming into a Super Saiyan and breaking out of Cocoette's pocket dimension that she creates. So we have seen multiple characters be able to break out of pocket dimensions or break through dimensions or create holes in dimensions. So what does this mean? Well, for one, when we talk about individual character power, it shows that you need an extremely high battle rating in order to do it, which ranks Kale up there at like Dimension Breaker level. Boo, of course, is Dimension Breaker level. Vegeta is Dimension Breaker level. Goku is Dimension Breaker level. Not setting that as the highest of their limit. They definitely are higher. When talking about Goku and Vegeta especially, they're definitely above dimension breaking level. You know what I mean? Because if Gotenks and Super Boo are able to break through dimensions, then damn sure like Goku and Vegeta are strong enough to break through dimensions. Kale, it's not super surprising that she's dimension breaker level. It's interesting to note that Kale still can go Berserker, and that her Super Saiyan form and her Berserker form are not the same thing. And Berserker form has also been demonstrated to be stronger than her Super Saiyan form, which is interesting, because if her Berserker form is stronger than her Super Saiyan form, then we're saying that Super Saiyan Kale is Berserker, not Berserker level. Super Saiyan Kale on her own is dimension breaking level. And then Berserker, or Ultra Super Saiyan, as Khalifa's been calling it, is beyond her normal dimension breaking level. So that's fucking insane in itself. Also, it seems like when Kale transforms, we have that weird inversion thing happen with color when she goes into Berserker. I don't know, the outside space thing is what's really fucking with me right now. The idea that when breaking through dimensions, at least in Majin Buu's case, we can't extend that to extend to everybody, right? But the idea that it's possible that if you break through dimensions, that in Buu's case, you could potentially wipe out the whole universe. It could be really dangerous. But let's talk about the crossover potential with movies for a little bit while I look up Hit's time storage technique to see if Hit's time storage thing definitely is called another dimension, because I don't want to mislead you guys in the video. But essentially, we have multiple movie dimensions. Like if every movie is its own dimension, then we have a good set. Like there's more than 10 movies, but I don't remember exactly how many movies there are. But that could lead to some interesting crossovers in themselves, considering that we can open holes in these dimensions. Right now I'm on Dragon Ball Wikia. I really want to collect the Daizenshus and have like the physical copies of them. So I'm going to have to hit up a Barnes and Nobles, Most Def, or Amazon.com. If any of you guys have know of good deals for this kind of thing, definitely hit me up. But yeah, searching dimension should be good enough. Yep, Hit actually stores up the time he skips to move around in pocket dimensions, and Goku can power up in order to escape these pocket dimensions. So yes, that is a dimension-breaking feat by Goku that we saw. But with all the Dragon Ball movies that exist, and each of them being their own dimension and being able to open holes in dimension, being techniques, being like a technique that you can do is fucking crazy. The Path to Power is a dimension. The Broly movies are their own dimension. Gosh, I hope Dragon Ball Evolution doesn't count. That actually is, that's a solid question. Yo, so the Dragon Ball movies, as Toriyama stated, um, are a different dimension from the main story of the comic. And it says, what is your stance on the Dragon Ball's theatrical films? Theatrical films. That doesn't not count Dragon Ball Evolution. I don't know. Post in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Is Dragon Ball Evolution, does that exist in this other like dimensional fabric uh, with all the other movies? Like, do you think if you use open a hole in a dimension or vice shout or some move like that, that you would be able to move from main continuity into Dragon Ball Evolution like you technically should be able to do with the other movies, considering their other dimensions? So if you open a hole in our dimension and move through it, you should be able to enter the other movie world or vice versa. But we got Path of the Dragon, Broly, we got Dragon Ball Evolution, maybe Battle of the Gods, Resurrection F. It'd be really weird to have Battle of the Gods or Resurrection F have portals open to them, simply because they're so close to just being like normal continuity. Like they're right there, but not exactly there. So that would be interesting. You'd end up with like some serious duplicates. We got Fusion Reborn is its own dimension where we have Gogeta. We have the Bardock Father of Goku film. Was that theatrical as well? Like, does that count as one of the theatrical films? We got the World's Strongest film, Lord Slug. So, I mean, look at these. Look at all these, like, other dimensions that are, like, a thing. There's Wrath of the Dragon, but for some reason they put the Fusion Reborn art. But, like, check out all these movies that essentially just exist as other dimensions. And you also have to think about the movies that seem like continuations of prior movies. For example, is Cooler's Revenge and the first Cooler movie the same dimension, considering they're sequels? Or because of the fact that they're separate movies, do they count as other dimensions? In Fusion Reborn, we see Bojack appear for a moment, if I'm not mistaken, when we see the villains come back to life. So is that a dimension where Bojack already existed? Or is it the same dimension as the Bojack movie? You know, like, whenever the movies allude to each other, it makes it harder to put your finger on whether or not they're the same dimension. Similar to Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. Are those the same dimension or not? Also, when we talk about theatrical films, does that include the Universal Studios films? Like the 4D films that we've had, including My Boy Goku 4D. If you have not seen the movie, not the movie, but the video of which I talk about Goku 4D and how Goku 4D or Goku Audience Fused is like a fucking baller, you should definitely check out that video. It's sick as fuck. But if all the movies count as other dimensions and we have characters who can break holes in other dimensions and travel between them, which we've seen happen in Dragon Ball now multiple times with these different characters, then it seems clear to me that the Dragon Ball characters should be able to travel to these movie universes, and the movie universe Dragon Ball characters should be able to travel over into main continuity, especially when we take in point the Akira Toriyama interview in which he states that the stories from the movies are in a different dimension from the main story of the comic. So yeah, what do you guys think of that? What movie crossovers would you like to see with the main continuity with this concept? And how do you feel like this changes things in Dragon Ball? I mean, Goku 4D, like Goku Audience Fused, he doesn't break through dimensions in the same way as these guys do. And I feel like before we end this video, I should probably talk about that for a little bit. So Goku Audience Fused has the ability to fuse with the audience. I call him Goku 4D because he was shown in a Goku 4D film. Also, finally, I haven't really seen fan art of Goku Audience Fused. I really want there to be more fan art. If you're an artist out there and you can draw Goku audience fuse, please do. Please do. Love his design. I think he's a really solid character because he's really like me or you. You know what I mean? And the fact that if you're in the audience, you can fuse with Goku. But this version of Goku can move between his movie universe and our universe. And the world that we exist in is, as far as we're aware, outside of the universes, like the multiverse that's presented in Dragon Ball. Goku 4D can reach out of his world into our world and even use his techniques through our world, allowing him to fuse with not one, but the entire audience, every member of the audience of the Universal Studios 4D movie. And by doing so, he can fuse and become an even more powerful being capable of defeating God Broly. So with that being said, aw shit, like that's actually pretty intense. And then if you add in the fact that he's able to defeat God Broly, he has an incredibly powerful battle rating. And all you need in order to use, as far as we're aware, opening a hole in a dimension from the special attack dictionary of the Daizenshu, only people with extremely high battle ratings can use this. So Goku 4D can not only reach out of his world into our world, which is completely outside of his multiverse, but due to having an extremely high battle rating, could potentially open a hole in dimensions, allowing him to move between the different movie universes as they each take place in different dimensions. And that's how the crossover potential comes in. If these characters are so powerful that they can rip holes in dimensions, then it seems like these characters should be able to move between the different movie universes. And even Goku 4D, who can not only potentially using open a hole in dimension, move from their universe into our own, transcending their multiverse, but should be able to move between the different movie universes. So with all that being said, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about Goku 4D being able to enter our world? What do you think about these characters potentially, since they can rip holes in their dimension, being able to enter the other movie worlds, and how this could lead to a lot of fan discussion about, how this movie character fare against this main continuity character, or this movie character and this movie character from different movies battle off against each other? What do you guys think about the movies that are sequels to each other? Are they different dimensions entirely? Are they the same dimension, but we're looking in further in time? How does Dragon Ball Evolution fall into everything? Dragon Ball Evolution was a live-action Dragon Ball film. Toriyama's quote simply refers to theatrical films. So Dragon Ball Evolution was a theatrical film. Is that another one of these dimensions that can be accessed? I feel like there are so many questions that we can ask with this, and I really want to see what you guys think in the comment section below. So what do you think about these concepts, and what do you think about the whole outside space thing? I thought that was fucking insane. That when Majin Buu opens holes in the dimension, he potentially could wipe out the whole universe. Is that also a problem when other characters do it? Is that why we haven't seen it? And could we possibly see this in the future, now that universes being wiped out seems to be a thing? Is outside space a similar concept to what Zen-Osama is capable of doing to destroy universes? Because, how many moves do we know of where, like, that move or ability alone fucking destroys an entire universe? So what do you guys think? Please tell me in the comment section below. Would love to hear from all of you. If you're new to the channel, make sure to check us out. We're the nickabenson channel. We do college lifestyle vlogs, Dragon Ball videos, Skullgirls gameplay, Yu-Gi-Oh! Out the ass. We're going to hit Dueling Book episode 100 next week, so definitely stay tuned for that. And also, check out our latest Dragon Ball Super video. We check out episode 101, and we do kind of like a discussion breakdown kind of thing. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're almost at over 470, and please post a like on this video. Our minimum like goal that we go for is like 5 likes. So please, every like helps us get to that goal. Thank you all once again for watching. It's been a pleasure, and have a wonderful night. This is your host, Jet Black, logging out.